Hey everybody, it's Laura Lynn. So instead of doing my Friday feels, since I didn't get an opportunity to post one on Friday, today is going to be a Tuesday testimonial from yours truly, Laura Lynn. So what I like to do is come on here and just share some of my experiences that I've had this past week with readings and how Spirit has come through in evidential and validating ways to let their presence be known. So some really cool things have happened this week with my readings. As usual, Spirit never fails to show up. And so one of the first readings that stuck out to me, a lot of the times when I'm doing a reading, it's not uncommon for me to pull up somebody getting a tattoo in relation to that person or as a symbol to them, or maybe they just have tattoos. But tattoos are coming up in modern day readings. I mean, because they're around a lot and more common than maybe readings that were done 50, 60 years ago. So they do pop up a lot in readings. But this one was a very specific conversation that this gentleman wanted to let the woman know that I was reading. And it was the first time she had ever even discussed getting a tattoo was the day before her reading. So for me, having that common symbol of, okay, well, I have a tattoo coming through, and he keeps mentioning that you don't have a tattoo, but you've been talking about wanting to get a tattoo, and it's going to be in relation to him. And I also saw something to do with his handwriting or some kind of saying or writing. And so she was pretty blown away and said that she has never, ever once in her life ever considered getting a tattoo. But the day before reading, she was discussing wanting to connect with this loved one in spirit and how, she's been thinking about maybe getting a tattoo to honor that loved one in spirit. So when I brought it up in her reading, that was very validating and very evidential for her because she had just brought it up the day before. And another thing that happened during the same reading with the same woman, actually two more things that happened. We were just on a roll that day. So first of all, I want to tell you, if you're looking for a really great experience with me, the more upbeat and positive and excited you come into your reading, usually the better and the easier it flows and lots of great information comes through because your energy is open to me and you're ready to receive the messages. And so it just kind of, I say, goes right with the flow. So two other messages she got. I'm giggling because it's going to be a little silly. But her loved one in spirit was showing me that there's a new gentleman in her life and that she had started dating someone, which she validated with me. And I said that her grandfather kept showing me, I believe it was her grandfather, kept showing me about fishing. And I said, I think he likes him because he likes to fish, or he's fishing, or he's telling you to like fish, like go get him, girl, or cast him in. I said, I'm not sure, but I keep seeing fishing. So I'm not sure if your grandpa's telling you to reel him in, or is it, because he likes that? And she goes, oh my God, he's like an avid fisherman. Like that's like his number one thing, this new gentleman that she was talking to. And then the grand stepped in and said, now you listen, there was no ding ding for the first 3 dates. So in grown-up world, hopefully y'all understand what I'm talking about. I used to teach kindergarten, hence my vocabulary choices. But I said there's something about like 3 dates already, or there's been 3, and there's no like physical connection yet because like I want to take my time. I want to make sure this is the right person, and I want to connect on a spiritual level before we get physical. And she got real quiet and then started laughing, and she goes, that is so funny because we have been on 3 dates and we have discussed how we're going to keep waiting for the physical part of it because we just really want to make sure that we're comfortable and enjoy each other and that we're in a good place before we take that next step. So a little rare sometimes in the 2020s to hear this kind of thing, but grandmother was very proud of her and very excited that she was doing that this time around with this gentleman to make sure that it was a good match before they took that next step. So sometimes my readings can get a little, so get a little too much information, but it's always needed. And all of that was necessary and validating and great information that she could take with her to know that she was on the right path. She was moving in this relationship in a great direction at a great pace, and that Grandma and Gramps weren't far, and her other loved one in spirit with the tattoo weren't far to keep an eye on what she's doing up there. So that was one reading. Another reading that I had this week, sorry, I have my little cheat sheet here. Another reading that I had this week was actually, I'm going to tone it down with my energy now because this is a little bit more serious, but still loving and validating and a beautiful experience. So this reading that I had a few days ago, I started feeling a baby's energy. And this baby that was coming in was a little boy, and I kept feeling him, and he kept telling me that he was around or related or had something to do with her sister. And so I knew there was no baby in her vicinity or any baby that maybe sometimes I get abortions or miscarriages and such, but this was a baby that was attached and was next to her sister. And so I said that there was this little baby boy, and she goes, well, my sister also passed as a baby, and our cousin, who was also a baby, unfortunately passed a few months later, who was a boy. So the validating messages that were trying to come in were from the male cousin, that even though he showed me a baby boy, he then revealed that he would be in his 30s now, which the girl validated because her sister died of SIDS when she was when they were very young. So years and years and years had gone by, but this little baby boy had presented himself in relation to her sister to show us that she was also a baby when she crossed, and that the two of them were together. So I had two of these what would be baby souls, but now in spirit we do age. So I say that whenever I channel spirit, in case anyone's curious now that I'm saying this, spirits usually go I would say round to 25. So if they cross when they're little or as they're growing up or before we hit that, we tend to age in spirit till about that what we would appear physically is about 25. So even though I may channel a grandfather, grandmother in their 80s, 90s, 70s, a lot of the time when after I'm done channeling where they were when they crossed, like what age range they were in when they crossed, they're always going to go back to their 20s. I mean, because why not? We don't want to spend spirit days over there in our old bodies. We want to present ourselves as what would be validating as to how old we were when we passed, but they're going to bring themselves back to around that age whenever I channel them. So when I see my grandmother, she does not come in as her 80-some-year-old self when she crossed. She always comes in younger and thinner and dark hair, and I see her in a totally different light whenever I picture her. So or whenever I channel her, I should say. So just a little additive into this testimonial, a little, the more you know. But basically those two babies showed me that they are my age pretty much now in spirit, and that's where they would be at, and they just wanted to show that they were together, and that was very significant for that girl and her story and her life. And also I picked up a balloon coming in for a wedding or anniversary or birthday, like some kind of a celebration. And I'd mentioned to her about a wedding anniversary that might be coming up. And she said, yes, my wedding anniversary is coming up. And I said, this is a very significant date, which she validated by saying yes, because not only was that our anniversary, but her grandparents and her great grandparents also had the same wedding anniversary as she did. So just more information and validation coming in from spirit, just like, hey, we're around, happy anniversary, we love you, and we know it's significant because it's our anniversary too. So that was pretty cool. I thought that was really neat. And then lastly, this actually has to do with Laura Lynn, so this is interesting. I had a girl contact me in my local area where I just moved back here in June to my hometown in Ohio, where I was born and raised. And as I was, going through my wait list, I came across the name of a girl who had the same last name that is my maiden name. And it was just weird because she's from this area. Well, I didn't recognize her name, just figured it was one of those things where like you have the same last name as somebody else, but you're just not related. But, just so happens that you live in the same area and you have the same last name, but there's no relation. So I figured that might be one of these. But as I started, talking to her today, she was very unaware of a lot of the history of her family on that side with that last name, which was her dad's name. So it was her maiden name as well, being unmarried. And so I'm just going, oh my gosh. Same exact school district. She's 11 years younger than me, grew up in the same schools with the same last name, 11 years past me. I never knew of her, heard of her, nothing, had no idea who she was. She found me on the internet on her own, just through a search. She just felt the need to look up mediums or psychics and was interested in having an experience with one locally. So she wanted to see who was around, found me, wrote me, got on my waiting list, go to do her reading today. I'm channeling, and I thought when I was on her dad's side, I felt a familiar energy on that side. And I was feeling the H, which is, I believe, my grandpa Harry. And I wasn't sure because she couldn't validate it because she didn't know so far past a certain generation in her family, and she wasn't as close to that side. So After doing her reading and giving her a beautiful experience, we had a great day today. I took it upon myself to get off the phone and I said, okay, this is weird. Not only is she the same last name in the same area, but her family grew up in the same area as my father, which is my maiden name. So I was just blown away. Again, this is a long story shortened. Comes out that she's my cousin. She's my extended cousin that I didn't even know I had. And my dad put all the pieces together. We had never really known this extended side of my family growing up. I had never really heard them mentioned, but maybe once or twice, but I didn't even think about it until after my dad had pointed it out to me. But her great-grandfather and my grandfather were brothers. What? Like, I love my job, but wow, some really crazy thing happened. And you could tell from my excitement and how I'm behaving at the moment that this was totally unbeknownst to me. So you guys, spirit just works in amazing ways. I have moved back to my hometown after 15 years of being gone, randomly had an extended family member who's a cousin find me on her own to come get a rating. And I was wondering why I was feeling my people. I just thought we just didn't know each other, just same last name. And here I got my grandpa probably hanging out in the reading, giggling in the background, saying she's going to figure this out later today. So I thought that was pretty cool. So those are my experiences from this week. This is my episode of my Tuesday testimonial, and I hope you all are enjoying my YouTube channel and watching my videos. So continue to subscribe and follow me and my journey along my mediumship, and I hope to see you again next time, guys. Thanks.